He was clowned as a loser and dumped by his S-rank ex in front of everybody. But then, Dude awakened as a beast-taming menace. And not just any beasts, we're talking girl beasts. 100 years ago, a colossal meteorite struck the continent, not just bringing destruction, but unleashing a terrifying new threat: monstrous insectoid creatures that swarmed from the impact site. Humanity's armies fought a losing battle against the insect hordes until a new power awakened within them, granting them extraordinary abilities. These new Spirit Contract Masters became humanity's last hope, wielding incredible power to turn the tide of the war. Now, in an era defined by these powers, a new generation is being tested, and this young woman's impressive talent sets a high bar. Even a C-rank Spirit Contract, capable of summoning a legendary sword, is enough to draw gasps from the crowd. But her awakening leaves her utterly devastated, her dreams crushed. As the crowd murmurs, the next name is called, but it's not our protagonist, Han Zhan, just yet. Instead, another promising candidate steps up, the highly anticipated Xia Youwei. With a confident smirk, she unleashes a torrent of energy, her power lighting up the entire testing ground. She manifests an S-rank Spirit Contract, the legendary bloodstained silver spear, leaving the instructors and her peers in absolute shock. A spectator hushes his friend, revealing a surprising connection. This S-rank genius is Han Zhan's girlfriend, but her first act as a newly minted S-rank isn't to celebrate. It's to walk straight to Han Zhan and publicly dump him, calling him a useless burden. She coldly dismisses their entire history, mocking him for being a sycophant who could never match her newfound status. But as the crowd laughs at his humiliation, Han Zhan doesn't look hurt. He looks amused, because this isn't the old Han Zhan. A new soul occupies this body, one who finds a mere S-rank awakening laughable. He remembers the memories of the original Han Zhan, a boy who debased himself completely, doing anything to win her favor. He was utterly shameless, giving up all his dignity, just for a moment of her attention. Even the lunch he painstakingly prepared was thrown to the ground, met with disgust and cruel words. Staring at the reflection of the pathetic boy he once was, the new Han Zhan makes a vow: that life of humiliation is over. Faced with the same old bullies and their taunts, he no longer feels fear or shame, only pity. His ex-girlfriend scoffs, mockingly asking if he even dares to take the test now that she set the bar so high. With a newfound confidence, Han Zhan steps forward. It's finally his turn. He places his hand on the awakening stone, but nothing happens. For a moment, confusion flashes across his face. Just as Xia Youwei begins to mock his failure, an immense power erupts from his body, shattering the ground and stunning the entire crowd. A pillar of golden light tears through the sky, a spectacle of power far beyond anything they've ever witnessed. The result is displayed for all to see: SSS-Rank Divine Awakening, a level of power that appears only once in a century. Instantly, his status skyrockets. The same girls who scorned him are now throwing themselves at him, desperate for his attention. But Han Zhan has no time for such superficiality. He coldly dismisses their advances, leaving them heartbroken. And in the most predictable twist of all, his ex-girlfriend Xia Youwei comes crawling back, suddenly remembering how much she cared for him. He considers the situation, a flicker of doubt crossing his mind. A tempting offer from a beautiful stranger, but his divine insight reveals all, prompting a swift and merciless rejection. She playfully pushes his boundaries, but Han Zhan holds firm, trying to negotiate the terms of their arrangement. Surrounded by mocking whispers and condescending smirks, the girl's patience wears thin as she's relentlessly bullied by her peers. As the cruel gossip spreads, its instigator simply smiles, reveling in the drama while her victim seethes in the background. Isolated and humiliated, Xia Youwei finds herself the target of cruel taunts, her spirit crushed under the weight of their mockery. Tears of confusion and despair stream down her face. She's only just awakened, so why is everyone treating her like this? Overwhelmed by the humiliation, she suddenly turns to flee, catching the onlookers completely off guard. But in her haste, she stumbles and falls. Reacting in an instant, Han Zhan lunges forward to break her fall. He catches her just in time, pulling her into a close embrace. The sudden, unexpected intimacy leaves her completely flustered. As he holds her, his power reveals her status. She's an E-rank Spirit Contract, but her true form is the Fuxi Qin, a divine artifact with unawakened divinity. He can't believe it. The Fuxi Qin, one of the 10 ancient divine artifacts, is only ranked E? How is that even possible? Mistaking her distress for pain, he apologizes, but she quickly corrects him. The fall isn't the problem. With a confident smirk, he gently brushes her hair aside. His bold, intimate gesture leaves her completely stunned. His bold move sends the onlookers into a jealous rage, their fury comically exploding as they vow to make him pay. Just as the situation threatens to boil over, Principal Chen Guangpu intervenes, putting a stop to the chaos with a single command. He's warned about the powerful Zhao family and the trouble he's courting, but Han Zhan's expression remains as determined as ever. With a tearful, resigned smile, Xia Youwei is led away, but their departure is cut short by the sudden arrival of an imposing figure. The guardian of Deep Blue City, Zhao Hu, has arrived, and his first order of business is to confront the man at the center of the chaos, Han Zhan. But the fiery girl from before recognizes the imposing man, excitedly greeting him as Uncle Zhao, much to his stern displeasure. The guardian's rage is personal. He furiously accuses Han Zhan of bullying his niece, who smirks, enjoying the show she helped create. The guardian gets physical, threatening to end him for his arrogance. But Han Zhan remains unnervingly calm, his composure a silent challenge. His niece joins the confrontation, grabbing his shirt and furiously questioning if he's even worthy of making a contract with her. But he's had enough. With a roar of, "You want to die," the tables turn in an instant. In that instant, his eyes widen. He sees something no one else does. Others try to calm him down, but Vice Captain Zhao is beyond reason. He's determined to teach this arrogant SSS-Rank Awakener a lesson. Ignoring the threats, he makes his final decision. "I'll contract with Xia Youwei," he declares, "and no one can change my mind." With his decision made, he wastes no time. Taking a surprised Youwei by the hand, he simply says, "Let's go." As he leads her away, she looks up at him, tears in her eyes, and apologizes for all the trouble she's caused. "It's not your fault," he reassures her, before activating a brilliant golden magic circle. The contract is about to begin. He activates divine insight, his eye blazing with golden power, ready to rewrite fate itself. Success. The melody of power flows from his fingertips, targeting its unsuspecting recipient miles away. Suddenly, a celestial tune envelops a young woman, her senses overwhelmed by a strange and wondrous energy she can't explain. Her mind reels in disbelief as she checks her status. She's skyrocketed from a lowly E rank all the way to the legendary SSS rank. Overwhelmed with gratitude, she throws herself at her benefactor, tears of joy streaming down her face. His gift has completely changed her destiny. Having achieved the impossible SSS rank, Han Zhan is presented with 3 legendary skills, including the mythical Dragon Soaring. He's in awe. His new soul contract isn't just powerful, it's a perfect all-rounder, excelling in attack, recovery, and support, leaving no weaknesses. This is the Hymn of the Goddess, an SSS-Rank Spirit Contract, a power that resonates with the very soul of music. Meanwhile, the girl Han Zhan just helped is in utter disbelief. Her contract has skyrocketed from a lowly E grade all the way to a legendary SSS grade. Overwhelmed with gratitude, she can't hold back her tears, thanking Han Zhan for changing her life. But he just plays it cool, a little embarrassed by the attention. Elsewhere, Han Zhan's ex-girlfriend, Xia Mei, seethes with humiliation. She clings to a powerful new backer, pleading for revenge against the man who embarrassed her. Her new man, Zhao Hu, smirks. He assures her everything is arranged for the upcoming assessment, boasting that in this city, his word is law. So he asks with a predatory gaze, "How exactly do you plan to repay me for this favor?" She doesn't miss a beat, eagerly agreeing as he suggests they head to their usual spot for her to show her gratitude. Watching from afar, Han Zhan's opinion of his ex plummets. He thought she was just shallow, but now he sees she's something far worse. But he isn't worried. With the assessment just a day away, a flicker of power in his eyes reveals he's actually looking forward to the confrontation. A few hours pass, and the online forums explode with negative news about Han Zhan, mocking him for awakening a useless spirit and getting dumped. The man behind it all, Zhao Hu, smirks with satisfaction. His smear campaign is working exactly as planned. Meanwhile, Xiao Mei is blissfully enjoying the perks of her new arrangement, completely relaxed and pampered. She playfully asks if he's satisfied, and his flustered reaction tells her everything she needs to know. But his good mood sours as he thinks of Han Zhan. He vows that this online smear is just the beginning. True cruelty awaits at the assessment. Later, it seems Xia Youwei has finished, repaying her debt, looking utterly exhausted but pleased. The next day, back at the academy, it's business as usual in the cafeteria. But the whispers and stares follow Han Zhan everywhere. The other students are all talking, making his companion visibly uncomfortable. Feeling responsible for the negative attention, she turns to Han Zhan, blushing as she apologizes for the trouble. But Han Zhan just smiles, patting her head. He tells her not to apologize and to have more confidence, reminding her that she's the school belle. He then confidently grabs a bun from her tray, declaring he'll eat it for her, leaving her even more flustered. As they eat, he couldn't care less about the gossip. All that matters is the peaceful moment they're sharing. But his meal is suddenly interrupted by an unwelcome voice. "They say you're an SSS-level genius," the newcomer sneers, "but I don't think you're all that." And right behind him is a familiar, smirking face. Xia Youwei. Han Zhan calmly asks who he is. The man proudly introduces himself as Wang Lumao, Xia Youwei's new spirit contractor. Without missing a beat, Han Zhan smirks. "Oh, so you're the one who picked up the trash I threw away." The comeback is so savage, even the school belle can't hold back her laughter. The insult hits its mark, sending Wang Lumao into a silent, cartoonish rage. Xia Youwei quickly grabs him, reminding him not to get provoked. Their revenge, she insists, will come during the assessment. As Han Zhan walks past, his ex-girlfriend's new partner can't resist a final taunt, reminding him of his public humiliation. But Han Zhan ignores them. He has bigger things to worry about. He steps into the vast assessment hall, ready to prove everyone wrong. An announcer's voice booms across the hall, explaining that the test will assess the combat power of their newly acquired, contracted spirits. And with a smug grin, he calls the first pair to the stage, Xia Youwei, the very girl who humiliated Han Zhan, and her partner. The two step forward, radiating arrogance. They're here to show off their S-rank spirit and put on a show. They stand before the imposing gate to the testing grounds, a portal to a pocket dimension where their skills will be pushed to the limit. With a heavy thud, they enter the trial, ready to face the challenge. The first opponent materializes, a black moth bug, an easy start at battle difficulty level 1. Xia Youwei doesn't hesitate, unleashing the power of her S-rank spirit, enveloping herself in a vibrant pink aura. Her partner's eyes glow red with borrowed power. "It's time to start," he declares, preparing to strike. He lunges forward, his weapon a blur of motion as he engages the monstrous bug head-on. Fueled by the spirit's power, he screams, bringing his weapon down for a finishing blow. The weapon connects with a cataclysmic crash, unleashing a wave of destructive energy. But the bug is tougher than it looks, ensnaring him in strange green tendrils even as he lands his attack. In a flash, the partner prepares another, more powerful assault. He unleashes a massive energy beam that pierces straight through the monster's carapace, obliterating it in a flash of light. The crowd watches in awe. The power of an S-grade spirit is truly on another level. On the main screen, the monitors show they battled their way to battle difficulty level 7, facing a far more formidable beast. But in the observation room, the district heads are far from impressed. This S-grade talent, the Elder begins, is only average. Wei Qing, the head of the first district, scoffs. "They're struggling this much? They're far weaker than they should be." He grabs his subordinate, fuming. "You call this the best our district has to offer? What a disgrace." Lin Jingxuan from the second district notices the discrepancy. An S-grade spirit should have one-shot that monster. Her power output is 20% weaker than expected. Another official offers a scandalous theory. Perhaps the contracted spirit's undisciplined lifestyle has led to a leakage of spiritual energy. The room falls into an awkward silence, the implication hanging heavy in the air. Meanwhile, Xia Youwei's team passes level 7, but the crowd's attention quickly shifts, their jeers turning towards the next contestant, Han Zhan. The announcer calls them to the stage. Han Zhan and his partner Xia Youwei step forward, their expressions calm and unreadable. They face the same imposing gate, ready to begin their trial. But no one expects what's about to happen. As the trial begins, Han Zhan's eyes widen in confusion, because instead of one monster, an entire horde of black moth bugs descends upon them. The system announces, battle difficulty level 10. They're in shock, The test is supposed to start at level 1. Why did the system throw them directly into a level 10 nightmare? But Han Zhan's moment is cut short. As his classmates surround him, their faces a mix of mockery and disdain. Unbeknownst to him, the Academy's administrators are watching. To test the limits of his unprecedented SSS-rank talent, they've secretly cranked up his exam difficulty by a staggering 10 times. Han Zhan is thrown into a nightmare scenario, surrounded by vicious reptilian beasts, with his companion lying helpless on the ground. Watching from a high-tech command center, a powerful figure smirks, eager to witness just how far this SSS-rank prodigy can be pushed. But the trial is far from over. The system announces the second wave, unleashing monstrous black moth bugs, each one a formidable threat. With a confident smirk, the challenger accepts, his hands poised over the controls. Bring it on. A transfer of immense power begins as two hands meet in a flash of ethereal light. He channels his energy through the golden staff, unleashing a blinding wave of force that ripples through the arena. The resulting impact is devastating, a cataclysmic force crashing down with overwhelming power. Suddenly, a horde of ferocious reptilian beasts charges forward, their roars shaking the very ground. But our hero remains unfazed, effortlessly dispatching the monstrous creatures that swarm him. The onlookers are stunned. In seconds, one of them screams in disbelief. Another can't believe his eyes, questioning if the power they just witnessed truly came from a mere E-level spirit. Sheer terror grips the faces of the examiners as they witness the impossible unfold before them. The questions fly, filled with shock and confusion. How is this possible? Who is he? Even the seasoned proctor, battered from his own trials, can't believe the results. He passed? One of the examiners calmly adjusts his glasses, noting that while the boy is strong, the test's difficulty was unfairly and drastically increased. Another official clarifies with urgency. This sudden change wasn't part of the plan. It was a last-minute addition by the city's president himself. The boy remains silent, his expression unreadable, as he processes the sudden shift in the exam's rules. The proctor grits his teeth in frustration, issuing a new, seemingly impossible challenge. Let's see how you kill 20 black oysters next. But a senior official smiles, recalling his own exam. The difficulty was the same for us back then. It's a fair test of a true genius. In response, a powerful aura begins to coalesce around the boy's chest. The official watches with keen interest. Well, he says, I want to see just where this kid's limits are. The second level of the test begins, and 20 monstrous black oysters materialize, their red eyes glowing with menace. The creatures are pure aggression, their blood-red teeth bared as they prepare to attack. As the battle rages, the boy's power resonates with a deeper purpose, a search for a connection lost. With intense focus, he channels his power, a storm of energy swirling around him. A strange, crescent-shaped artifact manifests, drawing the attention of shadowy figures. He unleashes a massive wave of energy, blasting the swarm of creatures with overwhelming force. The monsters are caught in a vortex of power, helpless against the swirling torrent. The battlefield becomes a chaotic scene of destruction as the black oysters are torn apart. But from the control room, the proctor scoffs. Is that all? That's not enough. Hearing the challenge, the boy simply smirks, a glint of confidence in his eyes as he grips his golden weapon. His next move leaves the entire crowd speechless, pointing in utter disbelief. What's that? One of the younger examiners is outraged. That's crazy. It's a direct slap in the face to us. As the exam results are tallied, the district leaders are already fighting over the promising newcomers. The head of the 3rd district, Yiqiu, makes a bold proposal. He argues against sending fresh talent to the front lines, offering his district as a safe haven for them to grow strong first. But his rivals immediately see through his noble act, accusing him of trying to poach the best candidates for himself. Tensions crackle in the room as the leaders' egos clash. Another district head tries to intervene, but the two are already spoiling for a fight. The argument quickly devolves into a shouting match, their professional decorum completely forgotten. The mediator is caught in the middle, completely overwhelmed by their childish squabbling. Suddenly, a teacher's booming voice cuts through the noise, ordering the powerful district heads to stop making a scene. Meanwhile, the true powers that be discuss the test results, focusing on one particularly interesting student whose zither music has a powerful restraining effect. After a moment of thought, the examiner-in-chief makes a final, decisive call. His subordinate can only react with stunned silence. In the arena, the student in question, Xu Zhen, glares with an intensity that promises great things. His aura flares, signaling he's ready for whatever comes next. The examiner smirks. He's setting the bar to the highest standard, just to see what this legendary student, Han Zhan, is truly capable of. The students are led into the final testing ground, a massive, empty arena. As the crowd of examinees settles in, they have no idea what's about to be unleashed. An announcer confirms their worst fears. At the request of the superiors, the test difficulty has been raised to the absolute maximum. The final stage begins, difficulty level 3. Instantly, the arena is flooded with 10 second-order giant lizards and 10 second-order thunderbirds. The air crackles with immense power as the monsters materialize, their energy overwhelming the senses. The other students fall into despair. Facing 20 second-order beasts at once is an impossible, unwinnable fight. But one student, Xu Zhen, steps forward with a smirk, casually telling his instrument that this impossible test will only serve to make him look good. From the observation deck, 2 influential figures watch with amusement. This impossible test was their gift to the young prodigy. They share a knowing, intimate gesture, confident in the spectacle they've arranged. Instead of attacking the students, the monsters turn on each other in a chaotic frenzy of lightning and claws. The powerful lizards are quickly torn apart by the Thunderbird's relentless assault. The majestic Thunderbird unleashes a devastating beam of energy, accompanied by a surprisingly delicate chirp. In a coordinated strike, the Thunderbirds unleash a massive lightning storm, annihilating their reptilian foes. At the center of it all stands Xu Zhen, his golden zither glowing, as he effortlessly conducts the symphony of destruction. With a single gesture, he has proven his absolute mastery, turning an impossible test into his personal stage. Inside the exam hall, the legendary student Xu Zhen is immediately swarmed by golden armored guardians, their glowing red eyes promising a swift end. With a unified bloodthirsty roar, the guardians charge, their only command echoing through the arena: kill. Meanwhile, deep within the secret realm, elite warriors clash with ferocious beasts as the beast tide rages on. But amidst the chaos, one squad moves with unnatural silence, their mission a closely guarded secret. Elsewhere in the exam, another challenger faces a terrifying duo of Thunderbirds, their lightning attacks overwhelming his defenses. The crackling energy is relentless, threatening to shatter both armor and will. A storm of pure electricity fills the arena, a seemingly inescapable cage of power. But now, it's Lin Moyu's turn. As he faces the lightning barrage, he realizes these aren't mere second-order beasts. With his own eyes glowing gold, he summons 2 spectral warriors, meeting the beast's power with his own. He issues a single powerful command to his golden apparitions: break it for me. In a flash of gold, Lin Moyu shatters the lightning cage, turning defense into a devastating offense. The crowd is stunned. No one expected a challenger to not only withstand the assault, but to launch a counterattack. Whispers spread as they recall the legend, a first-level Spirit Master who single-handedly crushed a second-order swarm. Now, they witness that same power firsthand as he manifests a colossal golden weapon, ready to end the fight. With his summoned warriors flanking him, Lin Moyu confronts the monstrous beasts, his own power rivaling the legends. His eyes blazing with golden light, he unleashes his full power with a single word: collapse. In an instant, a familiar, devastating power erupts, annihilating every beast in a storm of destructive energy. But as one battle ends, a memory from a snowy night surfaces, a quiet promise, a closed door, and a past that is about to re-emerge. With a single, thunderous blow, the massive beast is felled, leaving the onlookers completely stunned. While others struggle, Han Zhan's casual display of power leaves his guide in absolute disbelief. The observers are speechless, unable to process the impossible feat they just witnessed. An E-rank contracted spirit did that? Impossible? The guide begins to question everything he thought he knew. Desperate for answers, he urgently summons a specialist. AFU, get over here! In a flash, the specialist appears, his sudden arrival sending the guide stumbling backward. The order is given: use your unique identification ability and find out the true rank of that contracted spirit. But even Afu's talent fails. I can't identify it, he reports, noting the situation is just like that of the legendary Miss Ling Zhen. So the Awakening Stone registered her as E-rank, but a specialized talent can't get a reading? This is the exact same phenomenon as Ling Zhen. This situation is bizarre. The guide realizes there's only one way to solve this mystery. Ling Zhen must meet Han Zhan, but a sudden thought strikes him. By the way, he asks, what was the name of Ling Zhen's supposed E-rank talent? A spark of recognition flashes in Afu's eyes. The Shenong Cauldron! Back in the trial, Han Zhan clutches his prize. Teacher, I want to continue the challenge. Be careful, the teacher warns. The next level's difficulty is on a whole different scale, but Han Zhan is undeterred, stepping into the next arena to face two monstrous beasts head-on. He unleashes a devastating blast of energy, tearing through the massive creature's defenses. One after another, the challenges fall. Level 5, 6, 7. Han Zhan's rampage is unstoppable. In what feels like an instant, the system announces another victory. Difficulty level 8 is cleared. Surrounded by the corpses of his enemies, Han Zhan stands completely unfazed, as if it took no effort at all. You've won 9 rounds in a row, Han. You can stop now, his teacher pleads, amazed by the streak. But Han isn't finished. No, I'm challenging level 10. The teacher is aghast. Are you crazy? No one has ever passed that level. The observers are in uproar. Even that legendary prodigy couldn't conquer level 10. They recall that person's incredible triumph, but the guide knows. Han Zhan's talent is on an entirely different level of terrifying. This kid is a generational talent, the observer declares. I absolutely must get him into District 2. A confident smirk spreads across his face. His mind is made up. Why not? He unleashes his own power, preparing to step in personally if he has to. Back in the arena, the teacher delivers the bad news. You've used up all your time. The assessment is over. Han asks for a moment to recover, but the rules are absolute. The clock doesn't stop, so he decides to take matters into his own hands. Using a mysterious skill, he begins to rapidly regenerate his spirit energy, shocking the onlookers. What the heck? Is he recovering his depleted spirit energy right now? One of the observers exclaims in disbelief. The onlookers are stunned. A class that can attack, support, and heal? This kind of versatility is completely unheard of. Han Zhan's divine purple energy clashes violently with his opponent's sinister red power, a battle of wills made manifest. But just as the argument heats up, a sharp ahem cuts through the tension. Someone else wants a piece of the action. The head of District 5, Liu Jingchun, voices his concern. Is it really wise to send a priceless asset who can heal and absorb spirit energy straight to the dangerous front lines? The bidding war for Han Zhan begins. Old Liu makes a jaw-dropping promise. With Han Zhan in his district, the death rate on the battlefield will drop by a staggering 30%. But before the district heads can come to blows, a powerful figure intervenes. With a single word, enough, he unleashes a shockwave that silences the entire room. He reveals Han Zhan's true destination. Not the front lines, but a secret, brutal training camp where soldiers face unimaginable horrors to become the Empire's ultimate weapons. These are the guardians of the 8 major districts, the very pillars of the Daxia Empire. They are the unyielding shield that holds up the sky for all of humanity. The old man lays out the truth. An SSS-Rank Awakening is an event of national importance. They can't risk deploying Han Zhan until they fully understand the extent of his godlike power. The final challenge is laid down. Does he have the guts to enter this legendary training camp? But one look at Han Zhan's smirk tells them everything they need to know. A 3rd-level demonic beast, the Red Flame Beast, materializes, its sheer heat terrifying the onlookers. The other examinees are instantly overwhelmed, collapsing under the intense, suffocating heat. But one man stands his ground, unfazed. The crowd watches in disbelief, questioning his sanity for not running from the 3rd-level beast. He turns to his companion. Youwei, are you ready? Her answer is simple but absolute. As long as you're here, I'm not afraid of anything. With a defiant roar, Han Zhan charges forward. He's not here just to survive. He's here to prove his worth as a spiritual contract master. He unleashes a powerful roar, a blast of pure, spiritual energy aimed directly at the beast. He channels the legendary dragon and tiger roar, a technique that combines immense power with agile movement. He gathers his power, chanting, a bit of righteous energy, 1,000 miles of joyful wind. With a powerful command, he summons the wind, bending the very elements to his will. The onlookers can only stare in stunned silence, completely floored by the immense power on display. The gale he summons is so powerful it whips through the entire arena, much to the surprise of some female spectators. Focusing the gale into his weapon, he unleashes his ultimate attack, the Wind Dragon Roar. A massive vortex of wind energy forms, swirling with unstoppable force. The attack slams into the red flame beast, which lets out a pained, guttural roar. The collision is deafening, shaking the very foundations of the arena. The powerful beast is sent flying, its fiery form struggling to hold together against the overwhelming force. With one final, desperate roar, the demonic beast begins to disintegrate. As the dust settles, Han Zhan lands gracefully amidst the swirling remnants of his powerful attack. Silence hangs in the air, broken only by a single crucial question on everyone's mind. Did he pass? His fellow examinees are speechless, defeating a third-level demonic beast single-handedly. It was supposed to be impossible. The same student who mocked him earlier can only scream in frustration, unable to comprehend what just happened. Victory came at a cost. Though injured and drained, Han Zhan stands tall, having overcome the impossible trial. Suddenly, the world around him shimmers and dissolves, leaving him dazed and confused. He materializes in a new, ethereal space, where a calm voice congratulates him on passing the test. Wary, Han Zhan looks up at the mysterious figure and demands to know, "Who are you?" The man introduces himself as Lin Jingxuan, the person in charge of the second battle zone, here to ask him a few questions. Lin Jingxuan cuts straight to the point. "What are you fighting for? Wealth and power? Or do you have another reason?" Han Zhan answers with unwavering conviction. He fights to protect his homeland, so his people can live in peace, and to restore the glory of Dasha. Impressed, Lin Jingxuan applauds. "Well said," he declares, clearly moved by the young man's patriotism. His answer earns him a life-changing offer, an invitation to join the most elite military unit, the Dragon Soul. Suddenly, a horrifying vision floods the hero's mind. 3 Zerg emperors descending upon the world, leaving nothing but a sea of corpses in their wake. And just as quickly, his world goes black. But in the darkness, a memory surfaces, a lone warrior named Li Shutong, single-handedly holding back the endless Zerg tide. Back in the present, the young man can hardly believe it. He asks the legendary warrior, "Can I really become your disciple?" To which the master kindly replies, "Of course, if you are willing." Without a moment's hesitation, he performs the traditional ceremony, formally accepting Li Shutong as his master. Li Shutong is overjoyed, pulling his new student in close and declaring, "Good, you suit my taste more than any of them." As a welcoming gift, the master presents a small ring, humbly stating, "I don't have much to give you for our first meeting." But this is no ordinary trinket. Li Shutong casually reveals, "This ring is made from the bones of a 9th stage Zerg emperor I killed," leaving his new disciple utterly speechless. Holding the artifact, he can feel its terrifying ferocity. If a mere bone fragment contains this much power, he can't even imagine the strength of the beast his master slayed. Han Zhan's master presents him with a special ring, warning that while it intimidates weaker Zerg, it will enrage the stronger ones. "It's a token from my master, of course I'll wear it," Han Zhan declares, much to his master's delight. His master praises his bravery, noting that cowards would be too scared to wear the ring he was given. Pleased with their performance, the master decides to treat both Han Zhan and his companion to a celebratory feast. Their destination? The famous Deep Blue Hot Pot restaurant. At the restaurant, Han Zhan formally introduces himself and his companion to the table. Another disciple arrives, introducing himself as the second senior brother, Lin Jingxuan, a man with a calm and knowing demeanor. The introductions continue, revealing the 3rd, 4th, and 5th senior brothers, each with their own unique style. Han Zhan and his companion respectfully greet the assembled senior brothers, who welcome them to the family. It's explained that not all the senior brothers could attend, with some guarding the border and others stationed overseas. But as for the 8th, a mysterious, powerful figure suddenly appears behind Han Zhan, his voice echoing. He is the 8th senior brother. The enigmatic 8th brother gives Han Zhan his contact number, but with a cryptic warning, "You only have one chance." And just as quickly as he appeared, the 8th senior brother vanishes, leaving Han Zhan stunned. Han Zhan can only mutter to himself about his 8th senior brother's unique personality. The 2nd senior brother presents Han Zhan with a box full of gifts from his new family, containing martial arts techniques and battle robes. Overjoyed, Han Zhan gratefully accepts the generous gifts from his seniors. But the celebration is cut short when an imposing woman with pink hair bursts in, furious she wasn't invited to the hot pot. A close-up reveals her clenched fist and a distinctive green ring, radiating pure fury. Han Zhan recognizes the newcomer, exclaiming, "Aunt?" which leaves his companion, Xia Youwei, completely stunned. The aunt aggressively confronts Xia Youwei, accusing her of being stolen away, only to be met with a swift, shocking slap. Before things can escalate further, Han Zhan grabs Xia Yuwei's arm, stopping her in her tracks. The aunt tries to drag a distressed Xia Youwei away, but Han Zhan refuses to let go, protecting her. The aunt then turns on Han Zhan, accusing him of tricking her niece. Unfazed, he calmly asks who she is. Meanwhile, Xia Youwei can only watch, biting her lip in silent frustration and anger. Finally reaching her breaking point, Xia Youwei erupts, screaming at her aunt to stop. But her aunt shouts back, asserting her authority and demanding that Xia Youwei come home with her immediately. The mention of the 4th district catches the attention of a senior brother who realizes the gravity of the situation. The aunt's attention snaps to one of the disciples, recognizing him from the 4th district and leaving him stunned. Her rampage continues as she confronts Han Zhan's master, disrespectfully calling him an, quote, "keezer." The situation explodes. The aunt makes outrageous demands, pushing the master's patience to its limit. Enraged, he makes a call to bring down the hammer. From the shadows, a powerful figure scoffs, utterly unimpressed by the unfolding drama. Xiao Hu's mother sneers, convinced her powerful connections make her untouchable. Meanwhile, Han Zhan makes a discreet call, his phone buzzing ominously as he sets his counterattack in motion. Her confidence shatters as a phone call delivers shocking news, her voice escalating from rage to utter disbelief. The sharp clatter of metal echoes through the room. As she breaks into a cold sweat, her powerful backer simply watches, his expression cold and unforgiving. Her connections are proving useless. The voice on the other end addresses her backer directly, the sentence hanging in the air, filled with unspoken threats. In a desperate reversal, she screams a warning to her own family. "Don't mess with Han Zhan." The phone slips from her grasp as the horrifying truth sinks in. She collapses, her world completely shattered. The meltdown is public and spectacular. All her arrogance has evaporated, replaced by raw, desperate panic. She resorts to throwing a tantrum on the floor, screeching that Han Zhan is trying to kill her, but her act fools no one. Her backer finally loses his patience. With a roar of frustration, he declares, "You're so annoying!" He unleashes a blast of power, sending the shrieking woman flying. Her tantrum has earned her nothing but a forceful eviction. Later, the mood shifts as a friend's blunt question about their living arrangements leaves both Han Zhan and his companion blushing and flustered. This leads to an explanation of spirit contracts, which can manifest in 2 forms, a powerful object form or a sentient human form. Deeply ashamed, Xia Youwei takes the blame for a past tragedy, apologizing profusely to her teacher. But her teacher refuses her apology, offering not blame, but a home. He declares that from now on, she and Han Zhan are his family. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Xia Youwei can only cry tears of joy, finally finding a place where she belongs. And so, their new family shares its first meal together, a warm hot pot, symbolizing their newfound bond. The teacher uses the hot pot as a lesson, explaining the different ways to cook the food, a metaphor for finding one's own path in life. Curious, Han Zhan asks where he fits into this grand metaphor, questioning which path is meant for him. The teacher's words strike a chord, forcing Han Zhan to contemplate the meaning of forging his own unique destiny. But the teacher is suddenly struck by a shocking realization, his composure completely shattered. It wasn't a profound revelation that shocked him, but a culinary crime. All the beef and tripe have vanished from the hot pot. The culprit is revealed. As Han Zhan looks on in disbelief, a blushing Xia Youwei sits before a mountain of the missing ingredients. Changing the subject with a grin, Han Zhan playfully asks why his senior brothers haven't brought their spirit companions, or rather, their wives, to the feast. The answer shocks him. For these spirit masters, their spirit companions are their wives, a revelation that leaves Xia Youwei blushing furiously. A spirit companion can exist as a powerful weapon or take on a human form, fighting alongside their master against monstrous threats. As Han Zhan processes this new dynamic, Xia Youwei drops another bombshell. To achieve this bond, they must first consummate the relationship. The conversation takes a serious turn. One of the seniors, sensing something more, questions if Xia Youwei is truly just a simple E-rank spirit. The others erupt in disbelief, stunned by the revelation of an ability so unique it was previously thought impossible. But Han Zhan smirks internally. His choices are never random. Thanks to his unique talent, he can sense latent divinity, and his true goal is to gather all 10 ancient divine artifacts. Recognizing the immense danger, the teacher gives Han Zhan a strict order. His true talent must remain a secret, known only to them. To protect them, he immediately commands that Han Zhan and Xia Youwei's files be sealed under the highest level of confidentiality, hidden from all prying eyes. His student understands the gravity of the situation and agrees without hesitation. With the secret secured, the mood lightens as the group shares celebratory news. The nation of Daxia has won 19 consecutive battles and reclaimed vast territories from the insect race. The teacher listens with pride, a satisfied smile spreading across his face at the news of their victories. Filled with hope and optimism, he raises his glass, proposing a toast to the bright future of Daxia. In a moment of unity, their cups clink together, sealing their shared commitment. As the clock ticks past, their voices ring out in a chorus of cheers. Later that night, Han Zhan and Xia Youwei help their seemingly drunk teacher home, who comically insists he's perfectly fine. But instead of a humble room, he reveals their new home, a luxurious villa that leaves both Han Zhan and Xia Youwei utterly speechless. Misinterpreting their stunned silence, the teacher worries they might not like the extravagant gift. Recovering from the shock, Han Zhan asks a crucial question. Where is the teacher's wife, the mistress of the house? The question hits a sore spot, and the teacher's cheerful demeanor instantly fades, hinting at a painful past. The old master reveals a tragic truth with a heavy heart. His beloved mistress died in battle. He laments that while the world remembers him for slaying 3 insect emperors, they've forgotten the woman who made it all possible. Our hero, realizing he's touched a raw nerve, quickly apologizes for bringing up the painful memory of the late mistress. The master then entrusts the hero with a solemn duty to protect Youwei, whose life is now inexplicably tied to his. Refusing to let her memory fade, the hero asks for her name, believing that as long as one person remembers, she will never be truly gone. The master relives the tragic day he held his beloved Chen Xiaomei as she died in his arms, a sacrifice the world has since forgotten. Snapping back to the present, the teacher awkwardly shoos the hero and Youwei off to find a room for the night, leaving them flustered. Alone, the master gazes at a picture of Xiaomei, lost in memories of a time before the world took her from him. His solitary grief is shattered when a familiar voice calls out, startling the old master from his memories. It's our hero, flanked by Youwei, declaring with unwavering resolve that he is ready to learn the master's martial arts. A nostalgic smile crosses the master's face. He sees a reflection of his own youth with Xiaomei and the 2 kids standing before him. The training begins. To protect those he loves, the hero must master the legendary 8 Extremities Fist by unlocking his body's 8 hidden power locks. Without hesitation, the hero channels his energy, a powerful aura erupting around him as he asks, "Like this?" The master is left speechless. The hero, a supposed novice, has mastered the complex technique in a single, impossible instant. It wasn't luck. He simply found the position of the power locks by pure, unadulterated instinct. Youwei can only look on, completely flustered by the sheer display of talent from the boy she's come to trust. A grizzled master prepares to teach his genius disciple the true combat techniques of the 8 Quick Fist. The lesson begins with a brutal demonstration, sending the student flying with a single burst of energy. This is the difference between a genius and a monster, the master scolds, as his disciple reels from the painful lesson. The master can't hide his glee, admitting there's nothing more satisfying than teaching a lesson to a genius. The next day, at the prestigious Qingtang Academy, Xia Youwei worries about Han Zhan's brutal training, but he brushes off the pain, claiming it was nothing. But trouble finds them as a group of bullies, led by Xiao Hu's cronies, arrive to mock the so-called SSS-level master. As Xia Youwei shrinks back in embarrassment, the taunts continue, questioning Han Zhan's sudden disappearance after his impressive awakening. Their confrontation is cut short by the principal, who rushes out to greet them with surprising enthusiasm. But the warm welcome quickly sours. The principal delivers grim news. They're being reassigned to the City of Deep Blue to join the Guardian organization, starting from the very bottom. Handed an official notice, Han Zhan stares in disbelief. This isn't a request, it's an order to report immediately. The principal can only apologize, his hands tied by the higher-ups. Han Zhan quietly accepts his fate. He realizes this must be the difficult path his master spoke of, the one he must forge for himself. As they leave, a rival gloats, sneering that Han Zhan will never surpass him and is being sent to the front lines to die. The rival's lackeys join in, mocking that not even the principal can protect him from this fate. Han Zhan stops dead in his tracks, his expression hardening. He's had enough. His rival, Xiao Hu, foolishly boasts, claiming his power has doubled after a night with Xiao Mei, and Han Zhan is no longer his match. "This is to settle old scores," Xiao Hu screams, lunging forward with a powered-up strike. But the attack is met with an explosion of force far greater than he anticipated. Han Zhan's simple punch effortlessly stops Xiao Hu's desperate, power-infused blow. The resulting shockwave sends Xiao Hu's cronies flying, screaming in terror. Xiao Hu stares in horror at Han Zhan's glowing eyes, finally realizing the terrifying gap in their power. Before he can react, Han Zhan delivers a single, devastating punch. The bully reels back in agony, the taste of blood and humiliation filling his mouth. "He deserved it," Han Zhan says coldly, walking away with Xia Youwei as the cronies stare at their defeated leader. The commotion brings the principal running, who panics and calls for a medic upon seeing the unconscious student. Later, at the Guardian organization, Han Zhan wastes no time, announcing their arrival and intent to join. The receptionist, clearly expecting someone else, is stunned by their sudden appearance. He stammers that Vice Captain Zhao had ordered him to make things difficult, but their immediate arrival has ruined the plan. With the scheme thwarted, the receptionist hastily processes their files, officially assigning them to Team 0527, with Han Zhan appointed as the team leader. In this world, each city's elite first team holds authority over all other Guardian teams within its jurisdiction. Upon arriving at the Guardian's office, our heroes are greeted and told the captain is waiting for them. But they walk into a scene of utter chaos, a trashed room, a man passed out drunk, and a pink-haired woman casually holding a champagne flute. To their shock, she introduces herself as the captain of the first team, the very person they were sent to meet. Just then, the man on the couch begins to stir, groggily waking from his drunken stupor. He gets to his feet, a defiant smirk on his face as he mockingly welcomes the newcomers to the first team. Our hero coldly dismisses the man as trash, shocking his companion with his blunt assessment. As the tension thickens, the brawler takes a provocative step forward. He leans in, taunting the blue-haired girl, telling her she's cute when she's angry. But he's cut short by a lightning-fast punch to the gut, courtesy of our protagonist who has had enough. Blood flies as the brawler reels back, his mocking grin replaced with a grimace of pure agony. Meet the other members of Team 0527. One has already given up, drowning his sorrows and the team's debt in cheap liquor. The second member, a fiery woman, couldn't care less, dumping the responsibility of the newcomers on her drunk and despairing teammate Yifan. Overwhelmed by debt and desperation, Yifan collapses, his financial woes crushing what little spirit he had left. But he's not completely broken. Yifan springs back with a manic grin, ready to show the new arrivals just how hopeless their situation is. Pulling up the official Guardian rankings, he scoffs, confident he can scare them away with the truth of their failure. A notification dings, bringing up the data that will prove his point. The screen confirms his grim reality. Team 0527 is ranked dead last in the entire city, with a grand total of 0 points. Yifan's despair stems from a dark choice, a devil's contract that has left him broke and on the verge of a monstrous transformation. Fed up with their pity, Yifan explodes with rage, violently rejecting any attempts to help him. But Han Zhan isn't fazed. He recalls Xiao Hu's schemes to sabotage him and hardens his resolve. He won't let this mission fail. Xia Youwei suggests they cut their losses and find a new team, but Han Zhan stands firm, refusing to run. Even if I joined another team, he explains, Zhao Hu wouldn't let me off. Running is not an option. So rather than run, he declares, it's better to take over this team and make it the strongest in Deep Blue City. He tells Xia Youwei to wait outside. This is a conversation he needs to have with the last team member alone. The door to the private quarters creaks open, revealing the woman from before, who greets them with pure hostility. Get out. You're not welcome here. Unfazed by her attitude, Han Zhan meets her hostile glare with an unnerving, silent challenge of his own. Her bravado shatters as Han Zhan sees right through her disguise. Her true identity is exposed. Bai Shuang, an A-level spirit whose very essence is deception. My name is Han Zhan, he states coolly, fully aware that her power to lie could be a huge asset to their failing team. Cornered, Bai Shuang tries to regain control. If you intend to use this to threaten me, she warns, I advise you to give up. But Han Zhan doesn't want to threaten her. He wants to recruit her. Yi Fan may be set on dying, but you don't have to, he offers, extending a hand. Recognizing the unique advantage of a partner who can see through any lie, she immediately agrees. Deal! With their alliance formed, they quickly divide the labor. She will gather potential missions, and he will use his insight to screen them. Han Zhan clarifies their strategy. To climb the ranks, they can't waste time on trivial missions. They need to aim high. But the mission board is filled with nothing but low difficulty, low reward tasks. At this rate, surpassing the other teams seems impossible. Han Zhan cuts through her frustration with a single decisive command. If we're gonna do it, let's do the task with the highest points. He selects the only high-stakes mission available, an SSS-level task to clean up the lower district, worth a jaw-dropping 10,000 points. With a confident tap, Han Zhan accepts the suicide mission, leaving both Bai Shuang and the newly arrived Xia Youwei utterly speechless. You're crazy! Bai Shuang yells, reminding him of the massive point penalty they'll face if they fail such a high-level task. But Han Zhan just smirks, his confidence unwavering. So what? It's not like we're going to fail. A new teammate joins the mission, her pragmatism chilling. If he fails, her only job is to collect the body. Meanwhile, a rival team gets an urgent report from their scout in the grimy city ruins. Shock turns to outrage. They can't believe their high-value, 300-point mission was suddenly snatched from them. Unaware of the drama, Han Zhan and his team venture deeper into the desolate, trash-strewn ruins, closing in on their objective. The team's scout issues a dire warning. Her detector has picked up over 8 second-tier Zerg. They're standing right outside the nest. But faced with overwhelming odds, Han Zhan simply smirks. A single nod is all the reassurance Xia Youwei needs. Before anyone can react, Han Zhan activates his power, moving at an impossible speed and diving headfirst into danger alone. His new teammate panics. Those are second-tier Zerg. Even elite teams struggle with one. You're reckless. A deafening explosion erupts from within the nest, the shockwave alone powerful enough to send her flying. Her mind races, fearing the worst. This mission was already going horribly wrong. Tossed through the air by the force of the blast, she can only wonder if the reckless newcomer was just annihilated. After a grueling battle, Han Zhan and his new team survey the aftermath. With the Zerg annihilated, he offers a word of encouragement to a stunned Bai Shuang, while Yi Fan lies injured on the ground. Bai Shuang can hardly believe her eyes. The sheer number of defeated monsters is staggering. You did all this? She asks, her voice filled with awe and disbelief at Han Zhan's overwhelming power. Han Zhan casually confirms it. Yeah, the mission went well, he says, already focused on the next step, collecting valuable materials from the Zerg corpses to finally earn their team some money. But Xia Youwei cuts in, her voice laced with concern. Yi Fan took a serious hit during the fight and is unconscious. He needs immediate medical attention. An hour later, footsteps echo in the now silent dungeon. A new squad has arrived on the scene, expecting a tough fight. They stop in their tracks, utterly shocked. The entire Zerg nest has been wiped out. All dead, one of them whispers, wondering who could have possibly cleared the area so quickly. Another Guardian checks the mission board. Captain, the mission, it's already been completed, he exclaims, pointing to the finalized report. The captain is speechless. His team was supposed to handle this high-difficulty mission. What kind of monster, he wonders, accomplished this? Meanwhile, in another part of the city, Zhao Hu receives the same news. A subordinate reports that the lucrative Zerg clearing mission has been unexpectedly completed by another party. Xiao Hu erupts in fury. He had planned to hoard all the high-value missions for his own squad, but someone beat him to the punch. "A bunch of idiots," he roars, his scheme completely foiled. His rage boils over, and he strikes his subordinate, who can only apologize for the failure to secure the mission. Xiao Hu's anger quickly finds its true target. "Han Zhan," he seethes. "Don't think I can't deal with you just because you found a backer." Determined to isolate his rival, Xiao Hu issues a new command. His squads are to take over every single mission available in Deep Blue City, leaving nothing for Han Zhan's team. Unaware of Xiao Hu's plotting, Han Zhan dines with his master, who seems to know everything. 9. He says, using Han Zhan's nickname, "I heard you have a problem with Xiao Hu. Do you need any help?" Han Zhan politely declines. "Thank you, master, but I want to deal with this matter myself." He's determined to prove himself without relying on his powerful teacher. The master explains the bigger picture. The Guardian organization is rotting from the inside, corrupted by greed. He reveals that this internal decay is a far greater threat than any Zerg infestation. He looks at Han Zhan with conviction, and that's why I chose you in the first place. He believes Han Zhan is the one with the integrity to fix the system. "So you want me to be the fire that burns out the rot?" Han Zhan asks. The master replies that the choice to act and how to act is ultimately his alone. Changing the subject, Han Zhan asks for advice on his martial arts. The master's answer is cryptic yet profound. The only way to achieve a breakthrough in the 8 deadly fists is to find it between life and death. True power, he explains, is only forged in the crucible of a genuine, desperate battle for survival. Han Zhan quietly processes the harsh lesson. To grow stronger, he must be willing to walk the razor's edge, a path he knows all too well. Later that night, after a hearty meal, Han Zhan finally gets a moment to rest, feeling content and relaxed in his new home. But his peace is interrupted when Xia Youwei appears at his door, blushing and flustered, unable to meet his gaze. She stammers, explaining she has nowhere else to sleep. Han Zhan, misreading the situation entirely, comically assumes she's making a bold advance. Xia Youwei quickly clarifies the real reason. Their meddling master locked the doors to all the other rooms, leaving them with just one. Han Zhan laughs, completely unfazed. "It's all right," he says with a grin. "I'll just sleep on the floor." His easygoing nature puts her at ease. But Xia Youwei, mortified at the thought, refuses to let him. In a flustered panic, she shoves him onto the bed, insisting he take it. The next morning, the awkwardness of the night has given way to a quiet peace as the two wake up, having shared the room without incident. Feeling refreshed, Han Zhan and Xia Youwei head out from Team 527's headquarters, ready to find new missions and face the day. Meanwhile, Yifan and Bai Shuang are catching up on the rumors about their new captain. They're just now learning that the quiet newcomer is actually Han Zhan, the legendary SSS-rank prodigy. Bai Shuang offers a deep apology for her deception, but Han Zhan isn't interested in the past. He's here to change the future. She quickly warns him that his aggressive attitude won't sit well with the authorities. Even Yifan, the team's debt-ridden member, points out that Han Zhan has already made a powerful enemy in Xiao Hu, but their ambition hits an immediate wall. A quick check reveals there are no missions available for them in all of Deep Blue City. It's confirmed. Every single mission has been taken, likely a deliberate move to sabotage the new team before they can even start. However, Han Zhan is not so easily deterred. A clever smirk appears as he formulates a plan. If there are no jobs here, they'll simply look elsewhere. With a few taps, he changes their registered address, and just like that, the mission list refreshes, revealing a new set of unclaimed quests. But their relief turns to shock. The very first mission to pop up isn't just difficult, it's an S rank. Their task, eradicate a Zerg nest. For a team with 0 points, this isn't an opportunity, it's a potential death sentence. In a desolate wasteland, Han Zhan's newly formed Team O527 barrels towards their first mission, hunting Zerg. Without warning, the hunt begins, a chaotic clash of steel and chitin, but the creatures they encounter are far from ordinary, swarming the skies above them. Bai Shuang identifies the threat, the First Order Zerg, the Death Fly, a creature that feeds on spiritual power, a fact that completely baffles the still-dazed Yifan. The reality of facing a swarm of soul-eating monsters finally hits him, and he completely panics. The Death Flies descend, a terrifying legion of claws, wings, and skull-like faces. As one is swatted away, Yifan spots something even more terrifying on the horizon. It's not just a swarm, it's a massive, swirling vortex of them, a force of immense destruction. But faced with overwhelming odds, Yifan's fear shatters, replaced by a wild, manic battle cry. Meanwhile, another group finds themselves trapped, their escape route closing fast. Caught between the Zerg swarm and that same mysterious vortex, a desperate caravan flees for their lives. Their driver pushes the vehicle to its limit, but it's not enough. They're out of time and options. Han Zhan and Xia Youwei can only watch in stunned silence. As Yifan, fueled by liquid courage and pure adrenaline, leads the charge headfirst into danger. Bai Shuang takes the wheel, a wild grin on her face as she floors it. This is her kind of chaos. Yifan's reckless charge meets an abrupt and painful impact. But for him, the pain is nothing but a thrilling rush. He's having the time of his life. The other caravan isn't so lucky, as the vortex plucks their vehicle from the ground and tears it apart. The lead SUV crashes and burns, caught in the inescapable pull of the Zerg storm. Inside, a young lady named Shang Xiting and her guardian receive dire news. Capture is imminent. With no hope of reinforcement, her protector makes a grim decision to sacrifice himself for her safety. He orders the rest of the convoy to abandon them and save themselves, ignoring his lady's desperate pleas. As Shang Xiting protests in vain, a new player speeds onto the field. It's Han Zhan's team, and he's not here to run. He's here to fight. On his command, the team's secret weapon is unleashed directly at the heart of the vortex. While Yifan lays down a storm of suppressing fire, the cannon's payload finds its mark. A massive explosion rips through the Zerg swarm, a brilliant flash of destructive power. But the vortex rages on, its terrifying winds continuing to tear the convoy apart. Trapped and defeated, Shang Xiting's guardian can only blame himself as all hope seems lost. But just as despair sets in, an unexpected sound cuts through the chaos. Xia Youwei can only watch in terror as the enemy prepares a devastating attack. A terrifying storm of dark energy materializes, threatening to swallow them whole. But Han Zhan remains calm, gathering his own formidable power to intervene. With a single, concentrated blast from the back of the truck, he obliterates the incoming monsters with ease. Witnessing this overwhelming display of power, Xia Youwei is left completely speechless. As their vehicles race through the desolate landscape, another threat emerges. Han Zhan focuses his energy, preparing to counter the enemy's ultimate technique. His teammates can't believe their eyes, exclaiming, "My God, someone can actually disperse that storm." Bai Shuang, witnessing his true strength for the first time, wonders just who this new captain really is. But the enemy isn't finished, launching a new barrage of deadly projectiles. Poisonous needles rain down upon their convoy. Han Zhan shouts a warning, but it's too late for Yifan. The needles pierce his body in what looks like a fatal blow. Han Zhan rushes to his side, ready to administer aid. But as the needles lodge in his chest, Yifan simply smirks, telling a stunned Han Zhan not to worry. Han Zhan warns him that the poison is lethal, and the needles must be removed immediately. To everyone's shock, Yifan's body begins to forcibly expel the poisonous needles on its own. The truth is revealed. The perpetually in-debt slacker Yifan possesses an sulfur monosulfide level immortality talent. Han Zhan processes this stunning revelation, while Yifan, now recovered, cheekily asks if he wants to test his immortality again. "I can still take it," he boasts, confident in his undying nature, but Han Zhan simply scoffs, unimpressed. To him, an opponent he can't kill is just uninteresting. As Team 0527 speeds towards their next target, someone, somewhere, is clearly talking about them. Little do they know, their legendary exploits have already reached the ears of their rivals. The leader of another team is left utterly baffled by the sudden spike in activity from a single, unknown squad. Meanwhile, Han Zhan and his team drive headfirst into a swarm of First-Order Zerg, known as Deathflies. These creatures feast on spiritual power, and they've just found an all-you-can-eat buffet. The sheer number of monsters is staggering. But where others see danger, Han Zhan sees something else entirely. With a confident grin, he tells Youwei to get ready. This isn't a threat, it's a goldmine of points. As the Deathflies swarm their vehicle, Han Zhan leaps into action, ready to cash in. He unleashes a devastating kick, his power crackling through the air, sending one of the massive insects reeling back with a single explosive blow. From his perch atop the truck, Han Zhan continues his assault, effortlessly wiping out monster after monster. His teammates can only watch in stunned disbelief. One-hit kill after one-hit kill. The man is a monster. In a distant command center, a rival team watches as their mission board lights up with completed tasks, none of which are theirs. Panic sets in. They wonder aloud when Shanghai City got such a powerful team, unaware they're stealing every available task in the region. But a quick check reveals the shocking truth. The culprits aren't from Shanghai. They're Team 0527 from Deep Blue City. Enraged by this task bully, the rival captain rallies his men. They're heading straight for Deep Blue City to settle the score. But as they race towards their destination, they're hit with another wave of notifications. Han Zhan's team, however, couldn't care less. They are the task bullies, and they're proud of it. The rival team is horrified to discover that Team 0527 hasn't just been busy in their own territory. They've cleared every single task in Shanghai City as well. The proof of their rampage lies scattered across the city, a wasteland of defeated monsters. The rival captain seethes with rage. This task bully has gone too far. He orders his driver to turn back immediately, determined to hunt down Team 0527. His team snaps to attention, ready to follow their captain's furious command, but it's too late. His subordinate holds him back, reporting that Team 0527 has already completed their work and vanished. Just as the report comes in, Han Zhan's team makes their clean getaway, leaving chaos and confusion in their wake. The sheer, impotent rage is too much for the rival captain to bear, and he violently coughs up blood. Meanwhile, back at the Guardian Organization headquarters, the strange events have not gone unnoticed. Third-in-command Su Mingxuan puzzles over the data, baffled by the sudden, inexplicable spike in task completion rates. A subordinate brings him a report. A team of task bullies from Deep Blue City has been stealing missions, causing a chain reaction. Intrigued, Su Mingxuan decides to investigate these so-called task bullies himself. He wants to see just who is bold enough to cause such a stir. The morning starts like any other, with a quiet moment and a warm drink. But this is no ordinary day. A junior officer delivers a file that's about to turn his superior's world upside down. Dismissing his subordinate, the commander prepares to review the sensitive information alone. He opens the first two files, revealing the shocking truth about Team 527's members. An immortal, haunted by his past, and an A-rank spirit whose very essence is deception. The commander can't believe his eyes. 2 top-secret members on a single dead-last team? The implications are staggering. His heart pounds as he reaches for the final file. Surely the captain of this team couldn't be another top-secret case, right? But the file on their new captain, Han Zhan, is the most baffling of all. A top-secret classification with absolutely no information. It's an impossible contradiction. Just as his mind reels from the impossible files, a sudden call shatters the silence. He answers, identifying himself as Su Mingxuan, only to hear a name that sends a shiver down his spine. It's Lin Jingxuan, the legendary head of the Second War Zone. A man of his stature doesn't make casual calls. The message is chillingly clear. Stop investigating. You're out of your depth. Su Mingxuan can only offer his immediate, terrified compliance. As the line goes dead, the commander is left with one terrifying question. Just what kind of monster is this Han Zhan? Meanwhile, somewhere else, it seems not everyone is dealing with the same level of life or death intensity. Han Zhan stands alone, facing down a monstrous beast as it tears through the city. The creature roars, its glowing red eyes filled with rage and destruction. The sheer force of the monster's roar sends shockwaves through the air. A devastating blow slams into the city, leaving a rival team stunned by the raw power on display. With the beast defeated, a notification confirms mission complete. Team 0527 has racked up an impressive 1,800 points. But as Bai Shuang checks the rankings, her face falls. Something is wrong. A rival captain boasts about their score, but his teammate hesitates. Our total is 1,800 points, but his confidence shatters when he learns another team is in first place with a staggering 2,300 points. Who could possibly be completing missions faster than us? He rages, his pride wounded. Back with Team 0527, Han Zhan senses the issue and asks Bai Shuang to see the leaderboard. The data is bizarre. Not only is the second-to-last team ahead of them, but a dozen other teams are inexplicably tied with the exact same score. Han Zhan quickly realizes this isn't a coincidence. "We're being targeted," he concludes. "The system is rigged against them." He's right. The rules state that once a team sets a high score, others completing the same mission only get a fixed lower score. Someone is gatekeeping the top ranks. But Xia Youwei isn't discouraged. "Don't worry," she says. "We're close. We still have a chance." Her words steel the team's resolve as they prepare for their next move. A fire ignites in Han Zhan's eyes. This challenge only fuels his determination to become number one. Knowing they need a new strategy, Han Zhan seeks out the one person who can help, his master. They find his master calmly waiting, as if he already expected their arrival. "How was your trip?" Han Zhan asks. His master replies cryptically, "There was some gain, but the result was not good," revealing bloodstains on his hand. The master then reveals a surprising connection. He met the very same merchant convoy Han Zhan had saved earlier, and Shang Xiting had quite a lot to say about her unromantic rescuer. He laughs, realizing Han Zhan's act of kindness inspired the girl to seek power, and she had been pestering him for advice ever since. "Her grandfather and I are old friends," the master explains. The Shang family runs Kanshang Technology, one of the top 5 corporations. He considers Shang Xiting his own granddaughter, a revelation that clicks everything into place for Han Zhan. "You fool," his master scolds. "By saving her, you've drawn the attention of the city's president, who is now deliberately making your trials harder." Han Zhan worries his good deed backfired, but his master reassures him. "It's all right. That convoy was carrying something important for you." He presents a specialized case to Han Zhan and Xia Youwei, its contents a mystery. Inside are 2 glowing vials, powerful and rare breakthrough potions. They enhance strength, speed, reflexes, and even talent, he explains, urging them to drink immediately. There's no time to waste. Xia Youwei can barely contain her excitement, thanking their master for the incredible gift. Without hesitation, Han Zhan and Xia Youwei consume the potions, bracing for the surge of power about to course through their veins. In a flash of golden light, Han Zhan shatters his limits, achieving a breakthrough to a level 2 Spirit Contract Master. The breakthrough potion surges through him, an overwhelming energy that leaves Han Zhan in awe of its sheer power. But the transformation isn't just for him. His spirit, Xia Youwei, is overwhelmed by a torrent of elemental power as her SSS level potential awakens. A system window confirms it. Xia Youwei has unlocked a new divinity, Heaven's Will. Han Zhan smirks, knowing this changes everything. And with this new power, Han Zhan manifests a mysterious new skill, weaving ethereal melodies into tangible energy. The system reveals the secret behind her power. Heaven's Will is a celestial phenomenon, the embodiment of wind, fire, thunder, and lightning. This unlocks 2 powerful new compositions for Xia Youwei, the fiery spring wildfire and the devastating 6-dimensional thunder. The symphony of their newfound power settles. For now, Han Zhan debriefs with Xia Youwei, who seems overwhelmed and shy about the immense power now coursing through her veins. He reflects on their success. The potion didn't just level him up, it unlocked a whole new arsenal of musical skills for Youwei's divinity. Awed and blushing, Youwei can't believe the incredible power she now holds within herself. His performance doesn't go unnoticed. Han Zhan's master appears, expressing his satisfaction with his student's rapid growth. But just as they celebrate, an urgent call comes in. On the other end is Bai Shuang, with urgent news. A new high-stakes mission just dropped in Deep Blue City. It's a red alert. A Tier 3 plus Zerg Ranger has been spotted, and the mission is an open call to all Guardians. Unlimited numbers, no restrictions. Han Zhan is stunned. A Tier 3 Ranger is an extinction-level threat, and Bai Shuang questions if his team can even handle it. Without hesitation, Han Zhan makes the call. "Youwei, we're going." His sudden decision leaves her completely shocked. As the 2 rush off to face the danger, their master watches them go, a familiar sense of loneliness washing over him. Meanwhile, in another part of the city, a powerful figure receives a disturbing report. The woman they've been watching has just gone to Deep Blue City. The trail leads to a surprising destination, Kanghai City. Han Zhan and Youwei arrive at the rendezvous point on 60th Street where their teammates are waiting. Yifan and Bai Shuang are already debating the mission. She's eager for the chance to earn points, but even she knows the risks. She voices her concern, admitting that a Zerg Ranger, no matter how young, might be too powerful for them to defeat. Han Zhan arrives, cutting through the debate to ask Bai Shuang if she truly grasps the meaning of a red alert. He spells it out for her. If they fail, the Ranger will mature and annihilate the entire city. The stakes are clear. Looking at his team, Han Zhan makes their path certain. Even if it's a suicide mission, we have to go. A strange energy crackles across the city as an elite squad gathers. Sensing the anomaly, the squad leader confirms their intel. The Black Veil is a unique power that can isolate all perception from the outside world. But a subordinate questions the mission. If they're the best, why are the higher-ups still issuing outside missions? Is this a test or a trap? Suddenly, the pieces click into place. So that's how it is. The squad realizes the true, ruthless nature of their mission. With a cunning smile, the leader makes a cold calculation. Let's not act yet. We'll let the cannon fodder thin their ranks first. And there they are. Through the scope, the squad spots their targets. Two lone figures in the desolate landscape. Han Zhan immediately recognizes the threat. This is the Black Veil, he warns Xia Youwei, released by the Wanderer. As another team prepares to enter, their leader sets the stakes. Are you ready? Once we go in, there's no turning back. Unfazed, the team steps into the storm. This dark, twisted city is their second home, and they're here to take it back. Inside the Black Veil, the city transforms into a silent, imposing labyrinth of shadows. The air is thick with danger. Xia Youwei senses the insectoids, but Han Zhan feels something more, the chilling sensation of being watched. The feeling intensifies. It's like being stared at by unseen eyes, Xia Youwei whispers as a malevolent gaze pierces the darkness. The team presses on, navigating a shattered dimension where the very ground beneath their feet is unstable. Suddenly, Han Zhan freezes, his senses on high alert. Did you hear that? A strange sound. Then, absolute darkness. But it's not just dark. A sinister force begins to drain their very life essence. The nature of the trap is revealed. The Black Veil possesses life deprivation, slowly siphoning their energy until nothing is left, and the clock is ticking. They have only 30 minutes to break the Black Veil from within, or they will all become nourishment for the Wanderer. 30 minutes. The impossible deadline hangs over them. The shock clear on everyone's face, but there's a glimmer of hope. The team leader spots their target, the core of the Black Veil, a pulsating sphere of dark energy. That's it. If they can destroy it, they can escape. With their target identified, they move in. The plan seems simple enough. We just need to shatter it? Han Zhan asks, but a sense of unease lingers. But as they approach the core, the ground itself seems to shift, turning soft and unstable beneath their feet. It's a trap. The ground erupts into a living, fleshy maw, swallowing the team whole. Not good. The treacherous ground gives way, pulling her down into the fleshy abyss. Thinking fast, he grabs her arm, pulling her back from the brink as the horrifying realization dawns. This thing, it's alive. But another teammate isn't so lucky. "Brother Zhan!" he screams, watching helplessly as the living floor drags him under. As the chaos unfolds, Han Zhan reveals the second terrifying gift of the Wanderer, life bestowal. The ability not just to drain life, but to grant it, turning inanimate objects into living monsters. But they won't go down without a fight. Unleashing her power, she rallies them for a final push. If that's the case, let's break through together. As raw power surges around him, Han Zhan summons a legendary blade, its golden light cutting through the darkness. With his eyes blazing, Han Zhan roars his challenge. All right, let's fight together. He explodes into motion, his weapon a blur of golden light as he carves a path through the enemy lines. A series of devastating explosions rock the battlefield, each blast a testament to Han Zhan's overwhelming power. But the enemy is not so easily defeated. The very ground begins to crack and shift around them. As the fractured earth rapidly mends itself, trapping the warriors in an ever-changing labyrinth, the entire battlefield begins to collapse as a colossal entity rises from the rubble to confront Han Zhan. Han Zhan realizes their predicament. Not good. The Wanderer is trying to trap us. Suddenly, a sharp chime rings out, signaling a new development in the battle. From the shadows, a monstrous creature emerges, its malevolent red eyes fixed on the team. A desperate warning cuts through the chaos. Careful, even Han Zhan's own spirits react to the immediate danger, hissing defensively at the new threat. Han Zhan narrowly dodges a vicious strike from a new insectoid foe emerging from the ground. Amidst the chaos, his eyes lock onto a mysterious golden artifact. Am I seeing this right? So what is it? Realizing its importance, he abandons the fight and charges towards the object. Hurry! Watching his reckless charge, Bai Shuang can only look on in utter shock. In a world of awakened spirits, Han Zhan forms an unlikely team to climb the ranks and uncover a hidden conspiracy. Meanwhile, another elite squad arrives on the scene, their objective unknown as they approach a strange, isolated building. Their leader briefs the team, warning them about a strange, parasitic spiritual force they've been tracking. His teammates scoff, confident that no mere parasite can withstand their combined power. But their confidence is shattered in an instant as something moves in the darkness, attacking without warning. The ground beneath them erupts, sending the squad scattering into the darkness. One of them spots a shadowy figure lunging from the mist and screams a warning to his squad leader. But the warning comes too late. The squad leader is unresponsive, seemingly lost in a trance. As his subordinate approaches, he realizes with horror that his leader is no longer himself. The rest of the squad can only watch in disbelief as their captain turns on them. Possessed by the parasitic spirit, the captain attacks his own teammate with terrifying, inhuman strength. The scene shifts to another part of the secret realm, where another team faces a similar unseen threat. A small, insect-like creature with glowing red eyes has latched onto one of the warriors, its presence unnoticed until it's too late. With horrifying speed, the parasite burrows directly into its victim's eye, taking control of his body. His screams of agony echo through the desolate ruins. Elsewhere, Yifan and Bai Shuang sense the psychic attack. He asks if she can feel the invisible threads, but she defiantly claims they can't control her. He remarks that he envies her gift of near immortality, but she counters that being unable to die is its own kind of punishment. Overwhelmed by the psychic pressure, Yifan begins to give up, suggesting they might as well let the enemy take over. But Bai Shuang refuses to surrender, shocking him by declaring, "Who said we can't leave?" She unleashes her own power, commanding the very foundation of the realm to awaken and obey her. For a moment, there is only silence and darkness. Then, a crack appears in the very fabric of the pocket dimension, shattering the illusion. Yifan is stunned, realizing the true extent of her power as the psychic prison begins to crumble around them. As the illusion shatters, a ghostly silhouette appears, perhaps the source of the psychic attack, now weakened. But their escape is cut short when Bai Shuang looks up and sees a familiar figure gasping, "Captain." At that same moment, Han Zhan is ambushed, and Xia Youwei screams a warning. An unknown man in a suit appears from the shadows, his intentions clearly hostile. The figure attacks without warning, sending Han Zhan flying with a single powerful blow. Han Zhan lands hard near Bai Shuang and Yifan, who look up in shock at their captain's sudden appearance. They rush to his side, calling out to their captain, who seems just as surprised to see them amidst the chaos. Suddenly, the very walls of the maze begin to crumble, dissolving into pure energy around Yifan and Bai Shuang. Sensing a new threat emerging from the chaos, Han Zhan screams a desperate warning to his teammates. But it's too late. A colossal stone fist smashes down, the sheer force of the impact sending them flying. Just as they're about to be crushed, a new voice yells for them to get clear, as a burst of energy pushes them to safety. Revealing itself from the shadows is a monstrous rock golem, its roar shaking the very foundation of this dark world. Han Zhan doesn't hesitate, channeling his power and commanding the winds to rise against their colossal foe. But his attack is swallowed by an oppressive, absolute darkness. The monster retaliates with a roar that seems to tear a hole in reality itself, trapping the team in a violent vortex. They are plunged once again into a terrifying, disorienting void, barely managing to escape the blast. The sheer power of the attack briefly illuminates the darkness around them. The resulting shockwave alone is enough to send Yifan and Bai Shuang staggering backwards. The immense force is overwhelming, throwing them off balance as they struggle to stay on their feet. They quickly realize that even in its weakened state, the Wanderer's power is far beyond what they can handle alone. Han Zhan pushes his own power to the limit, unleashing a blinding wave of golden energy to create an opening. In that moment, he understands. The monster had merged its body with this entire dark world, leaving behind a single black sphere as its core. The objective becomes crystal clear. If they can shatter that sphere, they can kill the Wanderer for good. With a new plan and renewed resolve, Team 0527 prepares for their final all-or-nothing assault. But the Wanderer won't make it easy, lunging at them with ferocious intent. Yi Fan moves first, dashing forward with incredible speed to draw the monster's attention. He activates his ultimate defense, screaming for the power of his immortality shield to protect him. The monster's foot slams down with devastating force, testing the very limits of his ability. Cracks begin to form. Yi Fan desperately yells to his captain that his shield is failing and can only withstand 6 hits total. The beast relentlessly hammers away, taunting Han Zhan for hiding behind his teammate's sacrifice. But Han Zhan wasn't hiding. He was preparing. He begins a powerful incantation, calling upon the 6 divine guardians of heaven. He unleashes the Zither Melody, Great Ding, Thunder, and Lightning, a devastating attack of celestial power. The attack is so overwhelmingly powerful, it leaves even Bai Shuang flustered by the sheer scale of her captain's true strength. Meet Team 0527, ranked dead last with 0 points, but with their new captain Han Zhan, they're about to rewrite their destiny. During a brutal training simulation, a power far beyond their comprehension is unleashed. A deafening roar tears through the hall as a pillar of raw energy erupts from the ground. The force of the blast shatters the very floor of the training facility. A challenger makes his move, stepping forward with decisive force. And just like that, the battle is over. A smug grin spreads across the victor's face, but this victory is short-lived. Han Zhan's arm begins to corrupt as he screams for his teammate to escape, because they are no longer facing a simple opponent. A monstrous, winged entity appears, its voice dripping with contempt for the insignificant humans before it. An adult wanderer? The name alone is enough to send a chill down his spine. The true mastermind reveals herself, calling the terrifying creature a special surprise she brought just for them. She smugly explains her plan, confident that her pet wanderer is completely unstoppable. The wanderer's corrupting aura begins to overwhelm Han Zhan, but it's Bai Shuang who seems to be the true target. Seeing her trap unfold, the villain erupts into a fit of manic laughter, tears of victory streaming down her face. But this pushes Bai Shuang too far. Her true, terrifying nature awakens as she screams, "I just want to kill you all." Suddenly, Han Zhan looks down in shock. A gaping hole has been blown through his chest. He realizes the attack wasn't meant for him. "It's Bai Shuang," he yells. "She's being eroded by the eroding worm." The eroding worm, a parasitic horror that invades a host, feeding on their life force until it can control them completely. Even a 7th-tier powerhouse fell to its influence, slaughtering an entire city. This was the grim fate of that hero, a warning of the worm's devastating power. Han Zhan knows that if the worm succeeds, Bai Shuang will suffer the same fate. He has to act. He turns to face the true enemy, understanding the terrifying stakes of this battle. Ignoring his own safety, Han Zhan tells his captain to fall back. "I'll use my immortal gift to cover you." But the Wanderer's black veil is already absorbing Bai Shuang's immense power, growing stronger by the second. In a desperate last-ditch effort, Han Zhan reaches out with his mind, calling for the only person who might be able to help, Master. And his master answers. A wave of pure, restorative energy washes over Han Zhan, healing his fatal wound in an instant. The villain can't believe her eyes. The tables have turned in a flash, and she screams for her wanderer to stop him. The monster unleashes a devastating energy beam, aimed directly at the now vulnerable Bai Shuang. But Han Zhan is faster. He throws up a golden shield, protecting his teammate as they narrowly escape the blast. The resulting explosion rocks the entire chamber. When the dust settles, the real fight has only just begun. Before Han Zhan can even settle in, he's cornered by Xia Youwei's aggressive aunt, who accuses him of dragging her niece down. But Han Zhan has no time for baseless insults. With a single, sharp slap, he makes his position clear. Enraged, the aunt's guardian bodyguard leaps into action, only to be met by Han Zhan's own formidable power. The guardian spirit, a mechanical insect, latches onto Han Zhan, its venomous sting sending a paralyzing jolt through his body. As the poison spreads, Han Zhan roars in defiance, calling upon the true power slumbering within him. An agonizing pain erupts from his core, the heavy price he must pay to unleash his spirit. His opponent reveals his true form, a fearsome winged demon, confident that his trump card will secure victory. The demon scoffs, "Are you ready to die?" completely unaware of the real monster he's about to face. With a silent command, Han Zhan unleashes his own trump card. The strain is immense. This isn't a simple fight. It's a brutal test of endurance, pushing Han Zhan to his absolute limits. Realizing this is a trial for his entire team, Han Zhan calls out to Youwei and Yifan, urging them to prepare for a coordinated strike. Bai Shuang, the spirit of deception, answers the call. "Leave it to me," she declares as her own power surges to life. Forced to go all out, Han Zhan activates his master's technique, the 8 quick fists, astonished at the power required to pass this test. After their hard-won victory, even the normally cool and collected Bai Shuang can't hide her flustered reaction to their new captain's leadership. Han Zhan unleashes a devastating beam of light, striking the winged demon mid-air. As the battle rages, a lone bird takes flight into the darkness. The creature is stunned, recognizing Han Zhan's power as something far beyond a mere human's. For a moment, everything goes black. And then, with a thunderous crash, Han Zhan strikes. A tidal wave of demonic energy erupts, but Han Zhan stands his ground, refusing to be overwhelmed. The monster recoils in shock, its eyes wide with disbelief. How? How is that gauntlet in your hands? It reveals the gauntlet's dark history, a weapon that once felled a Zerg king, belonging to the strongest race on the battlefield. But Han Zhan is unfazed. "I may not be strong," he roars, "but you're no Zerg king either." His punch connects with explosive force, sending the demon reeling through the air. As the dust settles, a single object flutters down from the darkness. The demon realizes the truth. For someone to give away such a treasure, their relationship with Han Zhan must be incredibly special. Meanwhile, the rest of Team 0527 is locked in their own desperate struggle. For the thrill-seeking Yifan, the dance with death is just another Tuesday. But the battlefield is unforgiving. A warrior is caught off guard, and the creature strikes without mercy before making its escape. Yifan knows his window is closing. He has to end this now, before the monster absorbs more power. There's only one chance. Is this what it feels like? He thinks, a nervous thrill coursing through him. Being between life and death. It's nerve-wracking. Han Zhan knows he can't drag this out. It's time to go all out. 8 quick fists, second quick, rest extreme, open. He plummets towards his enemy like a meteor, a confident smirk on his face as power surges through him. With blinding speed, he closes the distance, ready to deliver the final blow. The gauntlet crashes into the demon's flesh, the impact cracking its hardened skin. He follows up with a devastating kick, tearing a massive hole through the monster's chest. As the dust settles, Han Zhan stands victorious amidst the rubble. "You lose." The creature can only stare in disbelief as Han Zhan's voice echoes, "No, you lost." But just as victory seems certain, Han Zhan's face twists in shock. "What's going on?" Han Zhan wonders, as the defeated demon's energy coalesces into a new, more terrifying form. "Boy," the true entity sneers, "it's all over." The team freezes in horror as Shang Xiting reveals the horrifying truth. Their opponent isn't just a monster, it's a Zerg general. Suddenly, the entire chamber begins to fall apart, massive chains crashing down around them. Han Zhan's eyes flash as he realizes the gravity of their situation. This is bad! The Zerg general, now a being of pure destruction, unleashes its final gambit. "Let's all die together!" An overwhelming force crashes down, threatening to obliterate Han Zhan and his entire team. But Yifan, refusing to back down, screams for his teammates to escape, ready to sacrifice himself to buy them time. His immortality ability finally gives out, and the full force of the enemy's assault crashes down on him. Han Zhan watches in horror, knowing his reckless teammate can't hold on for much longer. Just as Yifan is about to be overwhelmed, Han Zhan unleashes his master's signature technique, the 8 quick fists. He channels an immense amount of power, summoning a colossal golden fist from the heavens to obliterate the demonic creature. The team can only stare in disbelief at the monstrous form that had been pushing them to the brink. The devastating attack descends, its sheer force promising to annihilate everything in its path. As the dust settles, the members of Team 0527 are left speechless, staring in awe at the aftermath of Han Zhan's power. But their shock turns to confusion as a mysterious figure makes a grand entrance on a winged horse-drawn carriage. The man smirks, announcing that he made it just in time. Han Zhan recognizes him instantly, his eyes widening in disbelief. It's his 8th senior brother. The massive power output was too much. Han Zhan collapses from exhaustion, and his concerned teammates rush to his side. The 8th senior brother takes command, telling the others to get Han Zhan to safety while he handles the rest. Yi Fan can't believe his ears. Clean up? How could one man possibly deal with the remaining chaos? As if on cue, another monstrous insectoid creature emerges from the shadows, proving the danger is far from over. Bai Shuang, however, seems more flustered by the handsome newcomer than the terrifying monster.